Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to peek safely. I'm going to be going over different scenarios such as long range, short range, if you're up on height, if you are on low ground, and things that if you are turtled up, ways that you can peek that are much safer than just your traditional window, as for the most part, you're going to get lasered pretty easily if you're just peeking out a window and there's players, all around, especially in these arena mode or scrims or anything like that. So I'll be going over a bunch of different ways to peek, so enjoy the rest of the video. First, I want to talk about high ground and low ground peaks when you're close up with an enemy in a scenario like this, as they're kind of similar. For example, when you're on high ground, making sure you're not being too predictable is key. For example, a lot of players will most likely just go over this ledge and shoot down, but if you're on low ground, this is exactly where you're going to be looking. A player is most likely going to be just kind of going through here, making sure that they can just flick to an opponent's head when it does happen. But if you are on high ground, maybe, faking something like that, coming around this side, pumping them from this angle, and just playing more safer is important. Just because you have high ground does not mean that you're going to always win the engagement, as a lot of players will just sit here from low ground and use their advantage from the sight that they have on you. Especially because if you are down here and you're holding an angle like this, your opportunity to shoot the high ground is much higher, because for them to be able to shoot back at you, they have to be peeking pretty far. For example, I'm sitting like this, I'm still shooting the wood. I have to go out pretty far just to be able to shoot you. And for that matter, I'm exposing basically my entire body, and my head is one of the biggest things in this area. Now, one way to make yourself way less predictable with your shots is making sure you're getting different angles. For example, if you're just peeking straight over here, players are going to obviously notice that. And one way that I like to do it is, since Fortnite is a third person with the right hand shoulder, you can actually peek off this right side and get some headshots and stuff in. Just make sure you're peeking over far enough, because if you're not, even though you can ADS on the character, it will end up shooting the ramp. Now, one thing you got to know is that since it is the right hand peek, you actually can't peek off this left side. But what I also like to do is drop lower. Since players are going to expect you to peek up here, if you drop off this lower side and get some shots in, kind of like what I was talking about with that side peek, it's pretty effective. Or even jumping off the side here, getting a couple shots in, and then building back up. There's always those options. Just make sure that you're being unpredictable, because just a simple peek like this is most likely going to get you shot right back. Now, even though ghost peeking was patched a very long time ago, you can still do it. You just have to keep in mind two things. One, making sure that you're not over peeking. Now, for example, here, it looks like I'm definitely not sticking my head above the ramp. However, if you look at the side view, you can see that my head is sticking over a little bit. Now, if an opponent is on a ramp across, they can definitely see me, and that's not what you want, because that's pretty easy headshots off on you. Now, on the flip side, make sure you're not too low. For example, even though I have a headshot opportunity on the bot right here, even if I shoot, it's just going to end up hitting the ramp, because I'm just a little bit too low, and that's how the peeking is working. Now, you have to find that good median, and at that point, you have to make sure that you're lined up. So I just kind of look down, and then I look back up, and it's all about uncrouching and then crouching again. And the way that a lot of people do this is they'll use spacebar and then control, and they can do it a lot faster. As you can see there, that's how you pretty much ghost peek at this point. Once you get to late game, making sure you're not going to be exposed as much as possible is very important. So if you're shooting out of your box just like this, you're most likely going to get lasered, as there's a lot of different angles that can shoot in on you. Now, it's as simple as throwing down a cone in your box and then jumping behind it will close down a lot of those angles you don't want to be able to hit you, and will also make your body a little bit smaller because it's blocked behind the cone. Now, another way you can make it even smaller is what I like to do is editing the cone like this. And if you're just shooting out in a couple different ways, it's quite easy. And as well, the cone does block you again. And you can kind of just swap the edit down and shoot out however you would like. Another thing that I like about this is the fact that it's really easily resettable. So I can just quickly do this, and now I'm back to normal. But say you have a ramp in your box and you kind of just peek mindlessly like this. I know you can grab your wall if you pull out your build and then edit, but this is a lot more work than just quickly resetting a wall, especially for the fact that you're out in the wide open. And for the most part, a lot of players are going to panic before they can get a chance to reset this wall. So making sure that you're not putting yourself in a situation while you're shooting that is going to put you in a worse situation later. Alright, so that is going to wrap up the video there, though. I hope you did enjoy. Make sure to let me know what you thought about it down below. And if you did enjoy as well, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as I really do appreciate it. And it does help out the channel as well. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow in the next one.